We are on the road to the Canada Games. Thank you so much for joining us here on Shaw TV. I'm your host, Kevin Hirschfield. This is our Canada Games preview show, and we're going to have two of them for you. The first one will air during the first half of July. The second one begins July 15th, and that will take us right into the Canada Summer Games, which begin July 28th right here in Winnipeg. It is going to be a tremendous event, and we want you to be prepared and ready for it. So let's get this first show rolling, and we have a very special guest with us. She is an Olympic medalist in rowing and a Canada Games alumni. Janine Stephens joining us. We're from the Winnipeg Rowing Club, if you're wondering where we are. First of all, this is kind of your home away from home. We'll get to that in a sec, but Janine, take us back 2001 when you were a member of Team Manitoba at the Canada Summer Games. What are some of your favorite memories of that experience, and how do you think the Canada Games helped you moving forward in your career?
Yeah, so one of the main things I remember was just arriving in London, Ontario, where the games were, and getting your bag of Team Manitoba stuff, and how exciting that was to be a part of something so much more than just rowing. And that really fuels you. You know, you're a part of all of Team Manitoba, and watching the results as they come in and cheering on other people was a great experience. For me, in terms of rowing, I remember a bunch of my races. I could still think back to those times, both good and bad. And then I was on the podium twice, so I got 2 bronze medals. So that was a really exciting opportunity, especially for Manitoba. So it was great to represent the province. Going forward, it absolutely motivated me to keep going. I had a ton of teammates, both that ended up at university with me and on Team Canada, who also raced at Canada Games. So it was sort of fun to go back and reminisce about our experiences.
Right, I'm sure a very proud moment representing Manitoba at the Canada Games. There are going to be so many athletes doing the same thing for Manitoba here in 2017. We're going to profile a lot of those local athletes throughout this show, and you'll see that first profile coming up in a bit. We're going to profile the men's and women's basketball teams who both medaled at the last Canada Games. They'll be looking to do so again. But before we get to that, this is a historic Canada Games. 50 years, Janine, they've been doing this for. And now let's take a look at the history of the event. The Canada Games are held every 2 years, alternating between a summer and a winter event. To celebrate Canada's 100th anniversary, the first games were held in Quebec City in 1967 during the winter. The first summer games came 2 years later, 1969, in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The event has been a launching point for some of Canada's all-time elite athletes. 3-time Stanley Cup champion Sidney Crosby, tennis star Eugenie Bouchard, former world heavyweight boxing champion Lennox Lewis, Olympic gold medalist speed skater Katrina LeMay Doan, and 2-time NBA MVP Steve Nash. In Manitoba, the likes of rower and Olympic medalist Janine Stephens, former Major League Baseball player Corey Koski, and former NBAer Todd McCullough all have participated in Canada Games. Those are the big names, but the Games have provided hundreds of local athletes in a wide variety of sports with great memories and experiences.
It was a huge stepping stone. I've been involved in lacrosse. I still am at 69 now, and I was able to make it into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame a few years ago, as well as the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame, and all in the sport of lacrosse. And it's brought me friends and an enjoyment of life, and lacrosse is something I'll never stop loving, and try to stay involved as long as I can. And Canada Games is one of those things that brings these opportunities up.
It also brings everybody together, because a lot of these players are competing against one another, right? When you become a team, it's very different as a team. So I think a lot of people go on, that spurs them on.
2017 in Winnipeg will be the 50th anniversary of the Canada Games, and it will aim to continue the tradition of highlighting Canada's next great athletes and creating golden memories. Here we go.
Manitoba has come up big on the national basketball stage in recent events. A men's silver and a female bronze at the 2013 Canada Games, and 2 silvers at the 2015 Western Canada Summer Games. Can the Manitoba teams do it again, this time at home? We caught up with both squads as they continue preparations.
The girls have known each other for a few years. A lot of them have played against each other with their high school teams, and they've played on similar club teams, or at least played against one another. So it's a tight-knit group, and we spend so much time together in the next couple of months that the camaraderie kind of came really quickly. They're 16 and 17-year-old girls, so you don't have to worry too much about them getting along. One of our biggest challenges, I would say, is just our time constraint. We only chose the team the end of May and we have to compete at the end of July, so we're just trying to get as much of our game fine-tuned as possible before we have to compete. I think we have a good chance of at least making it to a medal round. We've got some high expectations playing at home, and the Manitoba teams have done really well in the last few years, so I expect us to perform well.
It was a pretty exciting experience, I guess. I've been on the team, it's my 4th year on the team, and so it's been a really good experience playing all throughout the summer, and it's been good. It's really special to me, I guess, because like I know a lot of my family are going to come out to watch, and I really feel really good about playing in front of like a home crowd.
Well, I think that extra pressure is almost working in our favor. They're working hard in practices. They've got that end goal in mind of trying to win a medal at the Canada Games at home in front of their families. So it's not hard to find motivation from that.
This team, I'm hoping we can play big and small. We have some real talented big men, and they're actually a year young, so they're not 17, they're 16, so they'll be around for next year's team as well. But you know, we're hoping because they do have size and they do have skill that they'll be able to compete with the best in Canada this summer.
School season just ended like not too long ago, and you know, I played with like mostly all of them throughout the season and had some good battles. And now that I'm finally on the team, I mean, it's pretty good. It's an honor, honestly. And I think we can do good things in this tournament, and we can make it far.
Good. Set it up. Set it up. We are a young squad, but I know the talent's there. So you know, right now I'll say that you know if we do what we're supposed to do as far as preparing the team, and they peak at the right time, I think we could really surprise some people.
Now let's take a look at some athletes from outside Manitoba who are heading to the Canada Summer Games. In the cycling event, Ariane Bonhomme from Quebec is expected to be a favorite. At the 2016 Canadian Road Championships, Bonhomme was the winner of the U23 Women's Road Race and the individual time trial. Bonhomme also represented Canada at the 2016 Pan Am Track Cycling Championships, winning gold in the team pursuits and a bronze medal in the points race. In basketball, watch out for the Nova Scotia team. They won the U15 Boys National Championship last year. 7 members from that team are headed to Canada Games this year, including Caleb Johnson, Jackson Smith, who were both tournament all-stars at last year's Nationals, and Kellen Tynes, who was the U15 Nationals MVP. In volleyball, Lucy Glenn Carter from Ontario will be one to watch. She's coming off an outstanding performance at the Volleyball Canada 18U National Championships, where she was named MVP of the tournament, leading her Pac-Man club team to a gold medal. Carter has also been a member of the Youth National Development Program and is committed to play for Acadia University in the fall. In the canoe kayak event, keep an eye out for Alex Brent from the Ridge Canoe Kayak Club in Maple Ridge, British Columbia. He picked up 3 medals at the 2016 Sprint Canoe Kayak Canadian Championships, a bronze in the U19 K1 500 and K1 1000, and then a silver medal in the K2 1000 meter race. He's competed at the 2014 Youth Olympic Games with Canada and was the flag bearer for BC at the 2015 Western Canada Summer Games, where he won several gold medals. Taking a look now at where the sports at this year's Canada Summer Games will be played. The soccer event comes to the Ralph Cantafio Complex from July 29th to August 12th. The facility features 2 outdoor synthetic grass soccer fields and another multi-sport field. This will be a U18 event, the female tournament taking place during the first week of the games, while the male tournament goes during week 2. 12 provinces will be separated into 3 pools of 4, with the top 2 teams in each pool advancing to the medal round. The canoe and kayak events will go August 7th to the 10th at the Manitoba Canoe and Kayak Center on the Red River. Athletes must be under 21 years of age as of January 1st of this year. Male and female teams will have 10 paddlers each, and those athletes will race canoes and kayaks in either the singles category, which is labeled as K1 or C1, in pairs, K2 or C2, and in fours, K4 and C4. Canada's top young golfers will hit the links at Southwood Golf and Country Club. The Par 72 course opened in 2011 and was designed by renowned Canadian architect Thomas McBrew. Golfers are under 19 years of age as of August 1st. There will be individual and team categories for both male and female golfers, and it will be a 72-hole stroke play format. We continue the road to the games. Janine Stephens, our special guest today. And Janine, your days of competing may be over. You're still involved in competitive rowing, though. You're actually going to be coaching the Manitoba rowing team at the 2017 games. So first of all, how did you get involved in coaching?
I took over as president of the rowing club a year ago, and I just saw and felt that there was a need for a little bit more coaching here in the province. It's been a really good adjustment, and I've been really enjoying it so far, so I'm looking forward to the summer.
You're telling me this has been kind of a brand new thing for you. You haven't been at this for so long. What have you enjoyed about your short tenure as coach here?
Well, I clearly love the early mornings. Getting back into getting up at 4:45 with the calm waters and the sunrise is just quite beautiful. I love being able to work with an athlete and see a change that they make, and that changes the boat speed obviously and gets them a little bit faster, so that's really fun to be able to see and work with athletes who can do that.
Right, and that kind of takes us into our next local athlete profile. Emma Gray is one of the athletes that you coach, and if you haven't heard that name, she's definitely going to be on the radar for many years to come. She's a tremendous rower, has an outstanding career so far. Tell us a little bit about Emma before we get into the profile here.
So she's fairly new to the sport and picked it up quite fast. Raced on the junior national team her first sort of a year after starting, and is just an incredible athlete overall, both mentally and physically, can really push herself and make changes, and I think it'll be an exciting summer for her, being able to be at home. She really is quite helpful motivating the other athletes and working with them and sort of coaching them from within the boat as well. So she's a great athlete to have on our team, and a mentor, and just a fast overall rower as well.
All right, here's a closer look at Manitoba rower Emma Gray.
The sport of rowing requires strength, skill, and determination. Emma Gray possesses all three and so much more. The top national junior rower in the country has all eyes on her to win at this year's Canada Summer Games. So the pressure is on, but Emma takes it all in stride.
Well, one of the things I love about rowing is it's really just being the best rower and the best person you can be in the boat and bringing your whole self to the boat. So I try not to think about the outward pressures, and I control what I can control, so I just want to go out there and put my best stroke forward.
Emma is no stranger to high-intensity sports and is used to hard training. The 19-year-old Winnipegger has been rowing for only 2 years, and it's like she was born to be a champion rower.
I'm good on my own and I can definitely motivate myself, but I also gain energy from other people and like the crew environment, so it's kind of a really nice thing about rowing. So it's like you need to motivate yourself on your own, but you also have your teammates and your crewmates who've got your back and really like help drive up the training environment.
Rowing involves both single and team training, and that's something Emma finds both attractive and challenging.
I love the sport, but just like the community it's brought is amazing. Definitely brought me out of my shell as a person. Like it's pushed my boundaries a lot, made me challenge myself both as a person and as an athlete, and just like the group of people we have here, like rowing takes a special type of person to do and to really stick with it, and I think we all have a very strong mutual respect for each other, both as athletes and as people. It's a great environment to be in. It's competitive whilst being supportive. It's kind of, we want to be better so everyone else can be better, not we want to be better than everyone else to bring them down sort of thing.
It's hard to believe how much this talented young athlete has achieved in such a short period of time. But Emma also finds balance when she isn't on the water with some favorite pastimes.
Cooking or sleeping? Probably. It's kind of my pastimes. I like music. I play guitar and drums and a little piano, so have some pastimes, but a lot is consumed by training, and when I'm not training, I kind of just nap.
Emma will be competing in the singles, duo, quads, and eights for rowing at the Games. And a big opportunity for Emma to get to the podium and add to her amazing list of achievements. For the road to the Games, I'm Tracy Koga.
Taking a look at some of the top athletes coming to the Canada Games from outside of Manitoba, let's look at the sport of sailing. John Owen is one of the top sailors in British Columbia. He's managed to finish first in the BC Sailing Regatta Circuit in 2015 and 2016. He was also 19th at the 2016 North American Championships. Owen will be using the Canada Games to improve his odds of making the Canadian sailing team and has his eye on the U21 World Championship as well. To triathlon, and Brock Hoel from tiny Peachland, British Columbia, has come up big on the triathlon scene. He picked up 4 gold medals at the BC Summer Games in 2016 and also won gold at the ITU Canadian Youth Elite National Championships. He'll be looking to qualify for the 2017 World Championships and then the 2018 Youth Olympic Games. Sydney McGill from Edmonton, Alberta, has stormed onto the mountain bike scene. In 2015, McGill was the U17 National Mountain Bike Champion, finished first and second at 2 Canada Cup mountain bike races in 2016, and has fared well in cyclocross events as well, winning in the U23 category at the 2016 Canadian Cyclocross Championships. To the pool in Ontario's Gabe Mastro Mateo has his sights set on the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Mastro Mateo had an outstanding performance at the 2016 Age Group Championships, winning 5 gold medals, including setting a record in his 14-year-old age group in the 100-meter breaststroke. He also qualified for the 2016 Canadian Olympic Swimming Trials at just 13 years old. Taking a look now at where the sports at this year's Canada Summer Games will be played. Baseball will be spread out across Winnipeg, with games being played at Whittier Park in St. Boniface, Elmwood Giants Field, and Shaw Park, home of the Winnipeg Goldeyes. The rules are a little different for certain teams. Those playing on baseball powerhouses BC, Ontario, and Quebec all need to be 17 and under, while the rest of the provinces can have 2 players who are 18, with the rest of their roster 17 and under. There are 2 pools, with the top 3 teams making the medal round in Pool A and the top 2 teams advancing in Pool B. Softball heads to the John Bloomberg Complex just outside of Winnipeg in Headingley. The facility opened in 1990 with 4 diamonds, but has since expanded to 7. Athletes will be 21 years of age and younger. And men's softball will return to the games for the first time since 2005. 10 provinces will participate in both competitions, with the top 4 teams in the round robin qualifying for the medal round. The Sargent Park Beach Volleyball Center hosts the beach volleyball competition. The courts opened in 2016 inside the Susan Ox Speed Skating Oval. It is considered a Summer Games legacy project, meaning it was done for the Games but will continue to operate in Winnipeg long after the event. Beach volleyball athletes will be 20 years of age and younger, and the teams are made up of 2 players each. The female side features 3 pools of 4, while the male competition is 2 pools, a group of 5 and a group of 6. Taking a look now at where the sports at this year's Canada Summer Games will be played. Wrestling will be held at the Axworthy Health and Recplex at the University of Winnipeg. The Recplex opened in 2014 and is typically used for soccer. It can be used for other sports as well, though, such as in this instance. Wrestlers will be between the ages of 15 and 18 and will compete in a number of events. There are 11 different weight categories plus a team event. Teams can have up to 11 male and 11 female competitors, one per category. The sailing event heads north to Gimli, Manitoba and the Gimli Yacht Club, which opened in 1969. Sailors 21 and under will hit the Lake Winnipeg waters and compete in single-handed and double-handed events, single-handed meaning individual, and double-handed meaning as a team. There will also be a 35 and under para mixed category. The rowing event will be held outside of Manitoba at the Kenora Rowing Club. Rowers will be competing on the Rabbit Lake in races of 2,000 meters. Tons of opportunities for medals here. 7 men's and women's events will be held, including single scull, double sculls, pair, 4, quadruple sculls, 8 with coxswain, lightweight 4 for the men, and lightweight double sculls for the women. So there you see it, the Kenora Rowing Club, Janine, the one spot, the one event in this Canada Games not happening in Manitoba. You guys will be heading out to Kenora. It's only a 2-hour or so trek from here. Have you guys been out there preparing, and what is kind of an advantage of getting out there before other teams?
We have been out preparing. A lot of our team selection was done out there due to the fact that we row on a river. You get fair times and real times when you row on a lake. So we have been out there a couple times for that. There is an advantage, sort of the prevailing winds you get to practice on, so that tail cross that goes across Kenora. It is a great lake for rowing, and they're lucky to have that, and we are lucky to be able to use it for the games, and I know they've been working really hard to put on a really good show, and the town's totally rallied behind the rowing event, so it'll be great.
So for some fans who are maybe interested in heading out to Kenora to see the rowing, what is it about rowing that you would say is kind of fun to watch as a fan, for those who may not know?
Yeah, so there's 6 boats in a race maximum. Some of the heats will have less, but on a final day there'll be 6 races. So we race 2 days of heats and then 2 days of finals, the 31st and 1st and 3rd and 4th. And it's kind of a race every 7 to 10 minutes that comes down. It's a non-ticketed event, so it's free for everyone to go. There's a beach out front of the viewing area, so people can swim and be on the beach at the same time as watching the races, and there'll be announcers. Because it's not at the finish line, you sort of see the middle 1,000. There'll be announcers sort of updating people with the race results.
Okay, so it'll be a fun time in Kenora for sure, but of course most of the action happening right here in Winnipeg, and what a boost it is going to be for our city, an event of this magnitude coming. Blair Malistravich now with how important this event will be for Winnipeg.
All right, Canada Games is just around the corner, so we're here talking about economic development in Winnipeg. We have Dana here. Dana, what does Canada Games mean for the city of Winnipeg?
Oh, you know what? Canada Games is something that the city of Winnipeg is so excited to be hosting, and it's going to be an amazing event that's going to welcome about 24,000 athletes and their families to Winnipeg over a 2-week period. We're going to have concerts at the Forks. We're going to have people all over the city, and you know, Winnipeg is preparing to welcome a whole bunch of company. The economic impact of having that many tourists in our city is really substantial, and it's a great thing for the city, and it's a great way to show off all that Winnipeg has to offer.
Now, to put you on the spot here, what's your favorite thing to do? What would you recommend visitors come to?
Oh, you know what? You can put me on the spot, but I'll talk for 20 minutes. I mean, there's so many great things to go and see and do in Winnipeg, and you know, we're going to have a lot of families coming, so they've got to get out to Assiniboine Park. They've got to see Journey to Churchill and watch the polar bears swim over their heads and do that. They've also got to get to the Museum for Human Rights. I mean, it's iconic, and you know, there's so much to see and do there. The Forks is our #1 meeting spot in the province, our #1 tourist destination. We get thousands and thousands of people there every year, so that's a must-do. And it's going to be great. All of Winnipeg is going to have something to offer. There's going to be events all over the city, and so Winnipeggers, as well as the people that are coming to visit us, are going to have a great experience.
Now, what's the one thing you want people to take away from Winnipeg?
That Winnipeg is vaguely exotic and a must-see destination. I mean, Vogue magazine said that earlier this year, but I want people to know what a great city we live in. I want people to know how friendly Manitobans are, but I also want them to be excited to come back and visit things like the zoo or the museum or the Forks or the aviation museum. I mean, there's so much to see and do. So I want people to get a kind of a taste of everything. We've also got incredible restaurants and you know, there's going to be parties on the streets and all that stuff. So I hope everyone walks away with a great great experience, and I hope they get to see a little bit about why I love Winnipeg so much.
Awesome, and I love Winnipeg as well.
Perfect.
So, and I'm going to steal this from you, but lots to see and do here in Winnipeg for visitors and the like. Back to you, Kevin.
Well, that will do it from here at the Winnipeg Rowing Club for our first Road to the Game show. Janine Stephens, thank you so much for joining us today. And I know you're not going to give me a bold proclamation here or anything, so let's kind of put the question this way. How do you think Manitoba rowers will match up against the rest of the country?
Oh, I think it'll be some really tough racing. I'm actually quite looking forward to it. I would like to win some medals. I think everyone does. But as long as the athletes are having fun and they have a really good experience and can think back 16 years from now like I do on my positive experience, I think that'll be a win for me.
Awesome. Well, it'll be an event to watch for sure. And of course, we've got our second Road to the Game show coming up beginning July 15th, and that will take us right into the Canada Summer Games beginning July 28th, and we'll have all sorts of coverage on Shaw TV during that time as well. So we'll look forward to that. But for now, we thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Road to the Canada Games.